Hey guys, welcome back to Tip Tuesday. My name is Matthew Sturkey with Stone Mill Log and Timber Homes. Thanks for joining us for our 2023 Tip Tuesday series, where last week we talked a little bit about developing or creating a budget goal. That budget goal is really, in essence, the amount of money that you want to spend, not what you can afford, but what you want to spend on the project. And we talked about getting pre-qualified or meeting with your lending institution or meeting with your financial advisor to determine that budget goal. Now, budget goal is not an actual budget. You've got to develop plans and go out and get a turnkey bid to develop a budget. We will talk about in the weeks to come. But what we're talking about today is taking that budget goal, which is the pre-qualification number or that number that is derived from meeting with your financial advisor, and then actually applying that to a plan or to the square footage that you're looking to build. So it's really important that you get started off on the right foot. So with every building project, as you can see on my screen, every building project is going to yield a different cost per square foot. It is all custom. What we're building and what our industry builds are not track homes. They're not speculative. They're not cookie cutter. Everyone is different. Everyone is unique to the site. Everyone is unique to the client's specific desires and taste and preferences and finishes and site conditions. So your cost per square foot is going to vary with every project. Every one of these photo galleries is going to yield a different cost per square foot because they're all built by different clients in different locations with different finishes, with different fixtures and different preferences and specifications. So it's really important that we help prospective clients kind of get started off on the right foot. So when they come to us and they say, hey, I've been pre-qualified for X, or I've met with my financial advisor and this is how much we have to spend, then we go through a little bit of an educational kind of feasibility process where we look at their desired plan and square footage, and we develop kind of a feasibility to determine if that plan is going to fit within that budget goal. There's no way to look into a crystal ball and determine if it's going to fit. What we're trying to do is make sure we're starting off on the right foot and off on the right track. So when you talk about cost per square foot, you can look at cost per square foot as conditioned, or you can look at it as covered. So if we flip over to the floor plan section and we go down to, let's say, the Belmont model, which is a nice simple floor plan. It's about 1,434 square feet. So let's say 1,450 as far as square footage. And you've got about 1,000 square feet, 936 on the main, and then you've got about 500 on the upper floor. So when we're doing this feasibility exercise to see if the budget goal fits the desired plan and square footage, what we're looking at is either conditioned square footage or we're looking at covered square footage. This particular plan has 1,434 square feet of conditioned, but it actually has 1,434. And then if you look at the covered porches, there are 36 by 8 porches on both sides. That's 288 on the front and 288 on the back. So you've got another 576 square feet, plus the 1,434 gives you 2,010 square feet of covered square footage. That is everything under roof. Now, that's assuming that we're looking at this particular home on a crawl space, not on a basement. So if you're building a garage, that's additional covered square footage. If you had a breezeway connecting the house to the garage, that's additional covered square footage. Or if you had a lower level, that's covered square footage as well. So make sure that you know the difference and make sure that you account for all that covered square footage. So where am I going with all this? One of the next steps after you determine a budget goal is to sit down with your builder or to sit down with us and do that feasibility exercise. If you go online today, I went online to about 4 or 5 different websites to look at what the average cost per square foot to build in 2022 was. And I saw websites that had costs that ranged all over the board. I saw $200 to $400 per covered square foot and conditioned square foot. I saw everything that you could imagine. And so what I would encourage you to do is not to look online at just generalizations. I would encourage you to go talk to the builder that you're looking at using for the building project. Talk to them about what their average cost per square foot is running for a high-end custom home. And that's important to note because this type of construction is not middle of the road. It's not low end. It's not a starter home. And that's not to disparage that. But what most of our clients are putting in to this type of custom home is higher end finishes, stone finish, masonry fireplaces, metal roofing, wide plank wood floors, high-end fixtures and cabinetry and countertops. So most of the finishes that go into these homes, not all, but most of the homes will typically see some higher end finishes. So it's important that when you're going to talk to your builder and you've got a certain budget goal in mind, that it's feasible to build that square footage or that plan that you want. So just by going through some of that exercise, let's just say you've got a $500,000 budget goal, and that is the number that was derived from pre-qualification or meeting with your financial advisor, and you're looking at building 1,434 square feet. So you say 500,000 divided by 1,434, that puts you in a budget range of about $350 per square foot, per conditioned square foot. And if you look at, if you talk to the builder and their average construction is running, $200 to $400 or $300 to $400 per square foot, then you've got a realistic budget goal for the plan that you're wanting to build. If you have a $500,000 budget goal, and let's say you're looking at doing 2,500 square feet, and that's conditioned. We're talking about conditioned square footage right now. So 500,000, and then you've got a 2,500 square foot plan. That puts you in a $200 per square foot range. Now that may be on the lower end of the spectrum, depending on where you're building and what you're putting into the finished product and the kinds of finishes you're going to choose. But that is really something that you would want to talk to your general contractor about, or have a conversation with us about. Certainly, we don't have a crystal ball and can't foreshadow or forecast what you're going to spend on this house. That's the reason that you go through a design and pre-construction process to develop a set of plans and to go out and get a turnkey estimate. But what we're talking about today really is just tips for getting started with the right plan, how to show or how to get started with the right square footage and how to apply that to your budget goals so that you're not starting off with the wrong plan or starting off with too much square footage. So really the tip for the day is to better understand, by talking to your local general contractor in your area, what the kind of going rate is, or what the average cost per conditioned or covered square footage is, and then applying that to the plan that you want to build and making sure that it's feasible to build the plan that you want within the budget goal that you have. That does not mean it's always going to shake out. It just means you're starting off with the right plan that is going to complement the budget goal that you have. So I know this is a lot of information, and the goal here today was to try to help you get started and talk about tips for helping you get started. Hopefully this has been helpful. And if you have any follow-up questions to this, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Our sales department's happy to kind of educate you a little bit more and walk you through this a little bit more in detail. So we appreciate you joining us for Tip Tuesday. We look forward to having you join us for more Tip Tuesday next week, where we'll continue talking about tips for getting started on your log or timber frame home. Until then, stay safe and healthy and take care. I look forward to seeing you next week.